Well, good morning. It's good to see you. I'm going to talk about a passage of Scripture that Miss Helen is going to read for us in a minute. It has to do with what Moses does and what Moses and God say to each other at the end of their journey in the wilderness. Whenever the Hebrews were freed from slavery in Egypt, they crossed the Red Sea. And they journeyed in the wilderness to a land that God promised them He would give them to occupy. Do you remember how many years they were in the wilderness? 40 years. So that's a very long time. It equals an entire generation. And so Moses is very, very old at the time he reaches the end of this journey. He's so old, he's not going to be able to enter the promised land. Joshua is going to do that because he's come to the end of his part of the journey. And God speaks to Moses up on the mountain. And God says, you are not going to be able to enter this land that the others will enter under Joshua's leadership, but I will allow you to see it. So before any of the others get to see the promised land, Moses gets to look at it. And when he looks out, that's what he sees. You see that mountain that he's on, it's kind of dry and dirt-like, and there's not a lot of vegetation. But through the valleys and the mountains here, you have all this vegetation and all this greenery. And imagine what it would have been like for Moses to spend 40 years in this dry desert climate, and this land is the last thing he sees. And the Bible tells us that because Moses was up on the mountain alone with God, that's when Moses dies. But because he's alone, God himself buries him. Okay, will you pray with me? Dear God, we thank you for these children and for the role they will play in the future of our church. Amen.